There are things I love and things that I hate about the Canon EOS R. I'm gonna tell you after the intro. What's up guys, Dan Frullani here and welcome back to a new video. If you're new to this channel, there's one thing you need to know. I make videos with and about the Canon 90D, the Canon R6, the Canon M50 and the Canon EOS R. Filming right now, by the way. Okay, so what do I have to say about this camera? I start from the beginning. I bought this camera in 2020, 2 years ago. A friend of mine suggested to me.
Okay, Dan's asking, if you had to use one camera, what would it be? For me, it would be the EOS R and 15 to 35 right now.
And I've been using it a lot, pretty much for everything. You know, so for my YouTube channel and for my professional works, along with the Canon 90D, that's been my first choice, the way to go, my favorite camera for both YouTube and professional works. But I know, and I knew from the beginning, that this is not the perfect camera. So I've been using it less since I got my Canon R6. But does it mean that the Canon EOS R is obsolete? It's not good enough in 2022? Well, absolutely not. I'm telling you, I'm still using it a lot. Even if I don't make many videos about it on my YouTube channel, I still carry this awesome camera with me when I shoot professionally. Of course, my main camera is the Canon R6, but I always carry also the Canon EOS R with me, ready to shoot at any time. First of all, for photos, because I just love the colors I can get out of it. But also, since the Canon R6 has a kind of an issue that it does overheat. It overheats when we shoot in 4K 60, even short clips for longer than 1 hour. So to prevent that, every now and then, every 15-20 minutes or something, I switch to my Canon EOS R. And the good thing is that if I shoot in C-Log with both cameras, C-Log 1, because the Canon R6 has also C-Log 3, but if I shoot using C-Log, the regular one, on both cameras, I can match the colors perfectly. So no problem at all. So what's bad about this camera, the Canon EOS R? Let me think. Well, the first thing that comes to my mind is that right now I'm shooting 1080. For this YouTube video, it will be upscaled. That's something I do in post. It will be upscaled to 4K and it will look good. The 1080 of the Canon EOS R is just fantastic. But what happens if I want to shoot in 4K? I'm gonna show you. This happens. Let's go down a little bit. It crops, and the crop is huge. Consider that I'm using a very wide lens, the 16 to 35 millimeters f2.8, and look, at 16 millimeters, it doesn't really look like a 16 millimeters, does it? So that's a bummer, because now I shoot all my videos in 4K, but then again, for YouTube videos, it's not crucial. It's not something really important to shoot in 4K. 1080 looks good. I mean, we don't see much of a difference on YouTube, especially if we watch videos from a mobile device or a tablet or something like that. But even when we watch it on a high resolution TV, can you see much difference between 1080 and 4K? Yeah, I can see the difference. Yeah, but I mean, it's not huge. And again, the 1080 of the Canon EOS R looks just fantastic. But we can fix this crop. How? As I showed in one of my videos a few months ago, we can use speed booster so that we get some improvement. Okay, let me show it to you. Give me 1 second. And voila! Now I'm using the speed booster. If you want to see which one I'm using, its price and everything, just check the links in the description to see all my gear stuff and things. my gear. And check the link to Epidemic Sound if you want 1 month of awesome music and great sound effects for free. Anyway, this is with the speed booster. So in 4K, and you see, we can recover some of the field of view, most of the field of view, so that it doesn't really look like a 16 millimeters, but close enough. So what do you think about it? Leave a comment down below and hit the like button right now. So this negative thing of the Canon EOS R, the huge crop in 4K, we can fix it, like partially, but we can do something about it, like this. Oh my god, the weather changes. There are so many clouds coming and leaving, and the light changes every 2 seconds. To adjust the exposure here with my ND filter. So I was saying, this is one flaw, one negative thing that we can fix with a speed booster. Not only, we can even make it better. How? With a speed booster, not only do we fix the issue of the crop in 4K, but there's something more. We can get some more shallow depth of field, because with the speed booster, the maximum aperture of the lens can go 1 stop wider. So in this case, I'm using the 16 to 35 millimeters f2.8 version 2, Mark II. I heard it both ways. And we can go to f2. And we might get some extra shallow depth of field, but I believe that can make a difference, even if it's not much, but that can make a difference in low light. But let me show you now. And here it is. Let me just adjust the ND filter so that we don't get overexposed, not too much. I think it's fine, but it doesn't matter because it's gonna change every so often, so bear with me. This video is definitely not gonna be an example of perfection for what concerns the light, but the important is that my message get through. So this is the 16 to 35 millimeters f2.8 with a speed booster. Its maximum aperture is f2, and here it is. Again, what do you think about it? Leave a comment down below, hit the like button, and subscribe if you ain't already. And check the links in the description. Alright, so what are other things that I don't like about this camera? Let me think. Something I don't really like about this camera is the fact that, first of all, we don't have 4K 60 for slow motion. And okay, we do have 120 frames per second. Yeah, but 720. 720p. Come on. Well, okay, there's to say that just like the quality of the 1080, which is incredibly great on the Canon EOS R, also the 720p, the 120 frames per second, 720p, doesn't look bad at all, you know? So guess what? I keep using it. And somehow it even looks better than the 120 frames per second in 1080 of the Canon R6. I don't really like the quality of the 120 frames per second of the Canon R6. Yeah, I don't like its overall quality, and also it tends to get, for some reasons, digital noise every so often, even when everything is correctly exposed. I tried anything, but I randomly get some very grainy footage whenever I shoot in 120 frames per second on the Canon R6. This doesn't happen on the Canon EOS R. It's 720p, but hey, it looks good. On the other hand, when we shoot 120 frames per second, 720p on the Canon EOS R, there's something more that I don't like. We lose dual pixel autofocus, we lose any kind of autofocus. So let's say before pressing the rec button, we focus on the subject, and then we press the rec button and finished. We can't change the focus anymore. So if the subject moves, we have to move along with the subject, keeping the same distance, otherwise it would be out of focus. So if you want dynamic shots, you have to make things do. You have to work some magic with your feet, with your eyes, moving your camera. And also there's no stabilization in this mode, no sound, but that's true also for many other cameras. In the overall, I can walk around that and get some useful footage sometimes even awesome. The last thing that I don't really like about the Canon EOS R is when we have to switch from photo to video. I mean, unlike other cameras where we have like a switch to switch from photo to video mode, here we don't. We have to press some buttons, look at the screen and figure out where to press exactly to switch from photo to video and vice versa. So, not really practical sometimes. These clouds are driving me crazy. After all I said about the Canon EOS R, what do you think about it? Is it still a good camera in 2022? Well, as I said, besides these little issues like the cropping 4K that can be fixed with a speed booster and the lack of autofocus when we shoot 120 frames per second, just like many other Canon cameras, and the fact that it's in 720p, it doesn't look bad at all. There is also another problem. I mean, it's not huge, but it's like when you shoot in time-lapse mode, when you do a time-lapse, you can't use C-Log. You have to use one of the default picture styles, and it doesn't look great unless you use the neutral profile and you adjust the settings of the neutral profile and you make things do. But I mean, it's not ideal, but you can get decent results. Besides, I don't shoot time lapses a lot. Not anymore. Do these things make it an obsolete camera in 2022? I already told you we can walk around these little issues, so that the camera for me is just very usable for both YouTube and professionally, especially for photos. So these flaws are totally compensated by its colors, because I mean, the colors I can produce with this camera are just awesome, unique. In fact, I would never go on a shooting without it. Yeah, my Canon R6 is my primary camera, my main camera, but I always carry also the Canon EOS R. Alright, I really hope you enjoyed this video. If you did, smash the like button and subscribe if you ain't already, and I'll see you guys in the next video.